I like to subscribe, do all that. You already know what time it is. Netflix time. This movie's called Afterlife of the Party. Just came out. It's an hour and 49 minutes long. Spoiler alert. Let's just get it. So we got this chick named Cassie about to celebrate her birthday with her best friend Lisa, who happens to be roommates. Lisa wants her to stay inside and celebrate, but Cassie's like, look, we gotta get out and party, you know what I'm saying? So as they're ready to leave out, they get a new neighbor by the name of Max. So Lisa's already head over heels for this guy. So the thing is, Max works on video games all day and Lisa does fossil work, like with dinosaur bones and stuff like that. They're very introverted and they very much keep to themselves. And Cassie's more the outgoing type. So they go to this random party and get it cracking. But after a while, Lisa starts feeling a little bit left out because Cassie and her friends start jamming out. She gets up at the table and starts pouring shots, getting it popping. So all her friends are about to go to this guy's house. They're about to set up this pool slide or something. And Lisa wants Cassie to have fun, but she don't want to go because she feels like it's too dangerous. Then they get into an argument. Cassie's like, why don't you just live a little? You know what I'm saying? Then they get into an argument on Cassie's birthday. Lisa decides to end up going back home. Cassie ends up going with the group. After that, Cassie comes home dumbfounded. Now, Lisa loves doing puzzles, but they never finished up this Mona Lisa puzzle. She can't find certain pieces, she gets frustrated and tosses that shit. Then she gets sad and tries to put it back together. She tried to knock on Lisa's door, but she was asleep. Then she gets on her bed and ends up falling asleep. Next morning, she wakes up still hungover, goes into the bathroom mirror thinking to herself, what the fuck did I do last night? She ends up stumbling from the mirror, accidentally breaking one of the towel banisters, slipping and falling and hitting her head on the fucking toilet seat. Yeah. And believe it or not, this is how she died. Now, how do we know this? Because she wakes up on a random couch and she sees this random lady looking at the events that played out in her life. Yeah, her name is Val and she's supposed to be her guardian angel. And she tells her, yes, that's exactly how you died. So yeah, she's like, what in all of the fuck? So whether she could accept it or not, Val tells her she's not in heaven or hell yet. She's in the middle. She basically has to finish this list of unfinished business before she can even go to heaven or hell. This list happened to have 3 people on it. Lisa, her mom, and her dad. So they transport her to where her dad stays at. He's just sitting on the couch like, what the fuck? So situations like this, she's got to handle this unfinished business. But how are they supposed to do that if they can't see her or hear her? Yeah, it sounds like a pretty ridiculous task, right? So dad's situation, he's been a complete slob because her and her mom got divorced. And now in real time, it's been over a year since Cassie died. He used to do yoga classes and stuff like that, but he stopped doing it. And now he's just been depressed. Living like a slob, all that shit. Then she asks Val to take me to Lisa. Lisa's basically been burying herself in her work after Cassie died. Then Val takes her to the park. And this is where she sees her mother Sophia and her stepdaughter Morgan. Apparently she's never met her stepsister. Now she only has 5 days to handle this unfinished business, or she's automatically going to hell. She's like, well, can I at least get a wardrobe change? She tells her yes, but only one time each day. So she goes back to her old apartment. It's a lot of stuff that has changed around in there. She checks out her old room, and Lisa got herself a new roommate. She catches up with Lisa as she's about to go to work. And Lisa's still talking to her neighbor Max, but they really haven't gotten anywhere as far as any type of a relationship. She tells this lady named Abby that owns like a bakery shop, and then she goes to work. Then you got this guy that works with Lisa, and he tells her apparently the Monsieur is coming to town. She's holding applications for a higher position in fossilized bones or something like that, to be like a new field researcher or something like that. They got the list there, but she's too scared to sign up for some reason. Well, of course, he already signs up. Cassie really wants Lisa to achieve her dreams, but once again, she can't hear or see her. As Lisa's having nightmares, Cassie's puzzled trying to figure out what to do. Then all of a sudden, out the blue, Lisa can actually see Cassie. So yeah, what the fuck? How'd you expect them to react? Lisa's actually seeing a goddamn ghost, and Cassie's actually surprised that she can actually see her. So Lisa thinks she needs some psychiatric therapy. She tries to explain to herself that she's not scary, she's just supposed to be like a guardian angel or something. But Lisa ends up kicking her out the room. She meets back up with Val and try to figure out how the fuck is this even possible. So they go to this angels directory and come to find out certain people can actually see you if you're soulmates or something like that. It's a very rare occurrence, so Val tries to put it to the test to see if anybody else can see her. And of course, nobody else can. But apparently, dogs have a sixth sense toward ghosts. Val says maybe kids too. So they go back to Dad's spot. Dad's been talking to himself. Talks about how he stopped seeing somebody. In his mind, he's still talking to Cassie like she's never left. There's a little heart to heart even though he doesn't know that she's there. Then Cassie pops up at Lisa's job, and yes, Lisa can still see Cassie. So when she's talking to her, she's making sure nobody else hears her to think that she's crazy. She goes up to Abby and tries to explain it as best she can without sounding ridiculous. They go home and get a lot of their frustrations and feelings out. Cassie thought that Lisa forgot about her, but Lisa had kept this box of trinkets that she always had, even after her father picked up everything after the funeral. Lisa was always thinking about shoes. They decided to start messing with puzzles because that was their favorite pastime. Well, Lisa's anyway. Her roommate comes in, doesn't really say shit, but for a second, you're thinking to yourself, can she actually see Cassie? But no, she can't. Then they play some music from one of their famous artists, this guy named Coop. Then they decide to play it louder in an attempt to get Max to come over to the house because you know Lisa's not going to put on the first moves. And sure enough, it worked. She hears a knock at the door, and here comes Max. They have some wine and get the talking. He wants to take her to a Max music video shoot, and she's like, yeah, absolutely. I mean, a Coop video shoot because apparently he knows the artist. Apparently Lisa wanted him to stay, but she kicked him out early. She's thinking to herself, I'm so stupid. Why the fuck? Then Cassie teleports over to Max's spot, and he feels so stupid about the same shit. So she's about to figure out some way to get both of them together. So she unplugs the charger on her phone. She goes over to Max's spot and starts playing playing Coop songs. When Lisa wakes up, she's late for work. Max wakes up with Coop signs on the ground, sees the to-do list on his board, starts playing a song, and as he's leaving out to get some coffee, Lisa's going to work and they catch each other at the same time. Then he asks what time he can pick her up for the concert, like 4 o'clock. She's like, bet, give me at 4. Somehow she definitely knows Cassie set that up. Then Cassie goes back to this park to see Sophia and Morgan playing together. This is the one person she doesn't want to see on her list. But why though? So she goes back to her dad's house at first. She sets up this area to look all nice with peace and tranquility and sets up this little yoga mattress. So Howard's just thinking to himself, I know somewhere in the gods Cassie has something to do with this. But he's not really thinking to himself, who the fuck just came through here and started decorating my house? Well, anyway, he gets changed and starts practicing yoga. Then she meets back up with her best friend again. So here's the thing about her mom. Sophia left her when she was little. And then on top of that, she gets to see her raising her stepsister like it ain't shit. But why she left, we still don't know. Later on, Cassie gets Lisa ready for a big date. Max is there, ready to take her out. And they get ready to go to the Coop photo shoot. Or music video shoot, whatever. And there's Coop with his squad. He's like a one-man boy band. Nothing really to point out. I just found it was very odd that you have 4 black guys as backup dancers. I mean, I don't care one way or another. It was just weird. Then they get to holding hands. And now I think about it, I thought it was kind of weird if you take your girl on a date to a music video shoot. I guess it's okay since it's her favorite artist, I guess. And then Cassie figures, why not get closer to her favorite artist? Hell, can't nobody see her anyway. And she gets all close like she's about to kiss him and whatnot. And then Val blocks her. She's like, nah, fuck out of here with that shit. Then Max and Lisa get back home. They get to talking. And you're not going to be able to see it on camera, but you already know what happened. You know he ended up giving it up business. She came back to the house all glowing and shit. We all know what happened. Obviously, she got to talk to her girl Cassie about the date. Then they get sad because Cassie's really starting to realize that she is actually dead. And she wants to really confront her mother, but she needs Lisa to go there to help her. So then they go to this nice house, and Lisa comes to talk to Sophia. Cassie's just irritated, taking this all in. And now it's time for the tough questions. So basically, Sophia didn't have no idea what she was doing at the time. She wasn't ready to have a kid. She realized running away was the worst decision she ever made in her life. It was done to explain how the hell you was able to deal with Morgan, but you couldn't deal with Cassie. Her and Howard had some disagreements, but they really didn't break it down like I expected them to. Oh no, we ain't get a real legit reason why she left Cassie. Bottom line, they get back to the house, Cassie's pissed off. And Cassie's kind of pissed off at Lisa because Lisa asked some extra questions that Cassie wasn't ready to hear. We get into our argument again, but this time it's on some real shit. Cassie goes back to Val like, yo, fuck this shit, I'm done, yo. So Val tells her, alright, this is the deal. If you don't complete your list, all the nice things you done would have been undone. And if you're done now, you're basically going to go to hell. And she doesn't want to hurt the people that she loves again. So basically, she finds up the courage to settle this unfinished business. So she goes back to her dad's house, but when she gets there, she finds out that he's there actually talking to Sophia. Like, oh shit. They got some type of reconnection and Howard forgives Sophia. Just like that, huh? And then she finally forgives her mom. And she was actually able to touch her hand even though Sophia can't see her. I know it's supposed to be a sweet moment and everything, but Sophia's got to be thinking to herself, what the fuck? But she checks her list, and Sophia's name is off the list. Redemption for one person, now you still got Dad and Lisa. So to help her dad out, she wants to hook her dad up with Abby. So basically, she goes around straightening out the bakery. Then she puts all these bakery flyers around Dad's house. And somehow he just knows Cassie has something to do with this. But again, he's not considering himself like, who the fuck is putting all these goddamn flyers in my house? He's not considering the fact that nobody broke in or something. I mean, like, come on. Then he goes back to Sophia's house. But she actually goes to see her stepsister, Morgan. She was actually surprised that Morgan can actually see her. And she tells her, like, yeah, I know you're my guardian angel. She just happens to know that even though they never met each other, ever. I mean, did her mom have pictures of her in the house where she can know exactly who she is? Like, what the fuck? You know what, for this type of movie, just take it for what it is. I know it's a PG movie, I get it. Then we get back to Lisa. Lisa finally signs up in the last spot. After some convincing from her best friend, she gets to interview with this world-renowned archaeologist, and she actually gets the job. She's been admiring Lisa's work forever, actually. But she's always been very humble, and wasn't really sure if anybody was paying attention to her. Bottom line, she knows now. Then Howard goes to the bakery, meets up with Abby, they get to talking, they get it popping. Max and Lisa show up. She's thinking to herself, how did the bakery get this damn nice and within a week? You know your girl Cassie had something to do with that shit? She tells her to meet her at the bridge later on the night, and don't come early or just come on time. Turns out when she gets there, turns out Lisa's actually having a proper memorial for her. With all the people that were important in her life. Not really sure who this guy is. Cassie's with Sophia, who the hell knows? She basically wants to say her last goodbyes to Cassie. Then her dad finally remembers a song that he was trying to sing to her for years ago. Lisa remembers, helps him start singing it too. And now Cassie can also be seen by her father. He's not even scared or shocked. It's like he just got this look like he just knew this was going to happen. I'm like, really? Gives him a hug and tells us he's got to go. Well, she's got to go. Turns out she's down to her last day. And before she was able to say goodbye to Lisa, she was teleported back to her old apartment. She wanted to do one last thing. She wanted to put this puzzle together, the Mona Lisa puzzle. But Val was like, hurry up, you're running out of time. But she finally found the piece. Time ran out for her. So what's gonna happen to Cassie? Lisa comes home and sees the puzzles finally finished all put together. Sentimental value and all that. So Val ended up talking to the council. She still gets to keep her job. But it's up to the elevator to decide where she's gonna go. So they walking over to the elevator. Val puts her hand over the elevator. It decides A. So that means she's going to heaven. She made it. So as she's riding the elevator, it makes a stop. And ends up picking up Coop. So we're thinking to ourselves, how the fuck did he die? So the way he died, he was volunteering in a disaster relief area. Unfortunately, he wasn't able to get out after he was saving other people's lives. So that's how he died. Apparently Val gave it a recommendation for them to meet, so there you go. So now they're in heaven. There's a bunch of roses and flowers and all different types of stuff, happy times in life and whatnot. So they walk off into the sunset holding hands and all that. Nice and colorful, looking like something out of a Wizard of Oz movie. So there you go. I'm just stumped. I don't even have any questions. It's just crazy that she died hitting her head in a fucking toilet seat. Afterlife at a Party on Netflix. Check it out. Like, click, subscribe, do all that. You already know what time it is. Like these, y'all, the easy bits. Big. They got a slogan.